We are approaching the weekend, and I hope you have been able to accomplish the things you set out to do this week. If not, there's one more day to do so. Welcome to today's program. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We are sharing life-changing experiences with assistive devices and debunking some of the myths about epilepsy. There is more, so stay with us.
An emergency shelter is provided by the government as a safe alternative and last resort for those negatively affected by disasters. Here are things to consider before going to a shelter. Is it safe to stay at home? If the answer is yes, remain indoors until you receive the all clear from the recognized authorities such as the ODPEM and the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, and it is safe to go outside. If your location is not safe, and you can temporarily shelter with friends or family who live in a safe location, ask. And if yes, relocate. But if you may get hurt at home and there are no friends or family you can securely stay with, then seek refuge at the closest emergency shelter. Remember to take food, water, and other essential supplies for at least 3 days. During a disaster, we want all Jamaicans to be safe. Have a plan. Keep up to date with the latest information so you can make the best decision for your safety.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 27, 2023. Parliament has approved amendments to the Child Care and Protection Act that will bring an end to locking up children who have not committed a criminal offense but who have been deemed uncontrollable. The legislation was passed with 17 amendments during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. One of the adjustments will involve the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, evaluating children for behavioral issues. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams spoke to its expected impact during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
The law passed in Parliament yesterday will, when it comes into effect, offer a kinder and a gentler environment for Jamaica's children who are experiencing behavioral challenges. Going forward, following the assent, the child will be assessed by a competent behavioral specialist, and a care plan would be agreed having regard to the results of a social inquiry report and a psychological or psychiatric report.
Amendment of the Act includes the repeal of Section 24, Subsection 2, which will enable Jamaica to become compliant with obligations under notable international treaties on child justice and child rights. Minister Williams says this is just one of the many ways government is seeking to fulfill its responsibility for protecting Jamaica's children. She points to the recently established non-residential therapeutic center opened at the Maxfield Park Children's Home in St. Andrew, adding that the ministry is already looking to set up another 2.
We also have a residential therapeutic center in St. Anne that is ready, that's outfitted, that have the necessary specialists there as well, in the event the behavioral challenges are of such a nature that it would require us removing the child from their environment and putting them in a place where they have access to these professionals.
Cabinet has approved an enhanced staff structure for the University of Technology, UTech, adding 832 new positions. The posts were identified during an audit of the university undertaken by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Cabinet also approved the current operational pay plan being used by UTech, resulting from its added responsibilities and program offerings since it was granted university status in 1995. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams, who made the announcement during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing, says the approval is significant because it addresses an issue that should have long been rectified.
I'm extremely delighted that this government has taken the steps necessary to regularize the staff structure, giving confidence and certainty to a situation that has been allowed to meander since 1995.
She adds that the Ministry of Education is committed to working with UTEC in its continued mission to expand access to tertiary education for Jamaicans. The Jamaica Defense Force JDF has welcomed 392 new members comprising 314 males and 78 females. The recruits, who are from the Jamaica National Service Corps, JNSC, graduated last Friday after 16 weeks of intensive basic training. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Ambassador Alison Stone Roof, says their completion of the program is a testament to their grit and determination. She urged the new JDF members to perform their duties with integrity and to avoid situations that can cause conflicts of interest.
As you embark, men and women, into the next phase of your lives, I hope that you will take the lessons learned from the phases of your training and continue to be men and women of honor.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF has strengthened its capacity to respond to incidents of domestic violence through the training of police officers. 24 officers advanced to being trainers in this area after completing a comprehensive 5-week program. They are the first cohort of a domestic violence Train the Trainer course.
They are required to go back to their division, develop training plans, to train police officers, identify the gaps that are within the in the divisions, and to ensure that the requisite training is conducted so that these gaps will not be there.
The head of the JCF's Domestic Violence Intervention Centers says a new domestic violence training manual is also being developed to enable the police to address the crime more effectively. The training was done through the JCF's Domestic Violence Intervention Center. Funding support came from the United Nations Spotlight Initiative, which aims to eliminate violence against women and girls. A domestic violence handbook completed through support from the United Nations Population Fund was issued to each officer, as well as the divisional branches of the JCF.
This situation is so dear, where we have cases of 1 in every 4 persons has experienced that in their life, domestic violence. And to throw out another number that I want to repeat, it's about the number of women that have been killed. 133, imagine how dear that is. So this is a serious problem that you have to take on. And we want for you to take this on with that level of professionalism.
And finally, Jamaica remains committed to maintaining a necessary balance in the development of regulations for deep seabed mining. Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Orlando Terrelong, gave this assurance on Monday. He was addressing the 28th session of the Assembly of the International Seabed Authority, ISA, held in downtown Kingston.
Jamaica remains steadfast in its commitment to the principles and objectives enshrined in the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea. We firmly believe in conducting our activities in the area in the interest of the sustainable development of the deep seabed to ensure respect for equity, transparency, and environmental responsibility.
The ISA is tasked with regulating the exploration of minerals found in the seabed and subsoil beyond the limits of national jurisdiction. Minister Terrelong says Jamaica subscribes to the common core position that there should be a comprehensive regulatory framework with robust protection for the marine environment. This, he says, will be instrumental in the work to develop the nation's mining code.
The adoption of the agreement relating to the implementation of Part 11 of the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea and the subsequent regulations on the prospecting and exploration of mineral resources serve as a testament to our collective dedication to striking the right balance between resource extraction and environmental preservation.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Vehicle operators must always use safety devices. Helmets and seatbelts are there to make sure you arrive alive, protecting you against injuries and even death. Since the start of the year, far too many road users have died. Some of these could have been prevented if the victims wore helmets or seatbelts. The new Road Traffic Act will fine persons for not wearing their seatbelt or helmet. So, do yourself a favor. Wear your helmet, use your seatbelt, save money, and stay alive.
Up next, we share a few devices that will enable persons with disability to live a life that's normal as possible.
What is a screen reader?
A screen reader is a piece of assistive technology that captures information from your screen and converts it to speech or as braille on a braille display.
Are there different types of screen readers?
So for the Windows-based computers, there are 3 types of screen readers that are used. There's the most famous one, JAWS, Job Access with Speech. There is NVDA, that means non-visual desktop access, and there is Narrator that is built into Windows. So for this demonstration, I'll be using JAWS. And if JAWS is already installed on your system, all you need to do is go to your desktop, press J for JAWS and press enter, and it will announce that it has been loaded. Right. So I'll be also using Microsoft Word to demonstrate how we type and how the screen reader works with us when we're typing. So I am now going to go ahead and type something, and you will hear the screen reader reading what I type, letter for letter.
H-I space F-Y space F-A-F-E space I-S space spelling error A-F-I-O-N.
Right? And if I want to hear what I type, I use the arrow keys on the keyboard, and it will tell me what I type.
Hi, my name is Damien.
Hi, my name is Damien. And that was what I typed. So this is how the screen reader works, along with Microsoft Word and any other program that we use on the computer. Also, for our mobile devices, yes, they too also have screen readers. So for the iOS, there's one called VoiceOver. And on the Android-based system, there is Google TalkBack, and Samsung also has their own screen reader that is called Voice Assistant. So for this demonstration, I'll be using Google TalkBack on a mobile phone. And how the screen reader works is if I put my finger anywhere on the screen and there's an icon there, then the screen reader will announce that icon. Let's try this.
Chrome. Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to long press. Actions available. Use swipe up then right to view.
Okay, so the icon that I touched was Chrome. And after it mentioned that I touched Chrome, it gave me some actions that I could carry out. So if I double tap, it would have opened Chrome. And it also gave me some other actions that I could carry out if I wanted to.
Where can screen readers be accessed?
Well, for the computer, you can purchase JAWS. It's quite expensive. It's about $1,200 US for the package. You can purchase it from Freedom Scientific. Also, for the mobile devices, once you purchase the device, the screen reader comes built into the device. So all you have to do is go into the accessibility setting and turn it on.
What is a white cane?
A white cane is a device that is used by both blind and visually impaired persons to navigate their way in any open space. How the white cane works is that you extend the hand with the cane out in front of you, and while walking, it will pick up surfaces and obstacles that may be in the way.
Where can white canes be accessed?
If you're blind, you can purchase a white cane at the Jamaica Society for the Blind for $3,000.
What is a prosthesis?
A prosthesis is a device used to replace a lost limb.
Are there different types of prosthesis?
Some of the different types of prostheses would be upper limb, below knee, and above knee. This is an example of an above knee prosthesis. The components here, socket, a liner that goes in here, which is this part, a flexible knee, stainless steel titanium pylon, foot shell, carbon fiber blade. Those are the components for a prosthesis, above knee. Yes? I'm going to show you what below knee prosthesis is. Here we are. Again, this is your liner, which fits onto your stump. This is the below knee. Fits onto the stump, fits into the socket, which is this. Pylon, carbon fiber shell.
Tips to care for your prosthesis.
Normal cleaning tips to take care of the prosthesis would be cleaning it with a non-abrasive cleaner, such as a hand soap. And that's basically what it is. Normal adjustments and things like that will be done by our prosthetic technician at the clinic. The other part of it is easy. It's a snap in, snap out, and he's going to show you how he takes it off. So go ahead, take it off. Comes off. This is your leg. Puts it back on. Locks into place. It's good to go.
Where can I get more information or help?
More information can be had at the Surgery Prosthetic Clinic at the Sir John Golding Rehab Center, Mona, Kingston.
A production of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
We all play a pivotal role in proactively filling up the blood bank by donating blood, by encouraging those who can donate to do so regularly, and by offering support, whatever that looks like. So be it to retweet it, be it to ask a family member, tell a friend, a co-worker, a colleague, even a stranger.
1 liter of blood can save 3 lives. You can give half of that at any of the Ministry of Health and Wellness's blood collection sites. There is no time to wait in a time of crisis where blood is needed. Every passing moment, the life of someone who needs blood hangs in the balance.
I stand here before you as a testimony of the life-saving effects of donating blood. Someone gave, that's why I am alive today.
If you are 17 to 60 years old and in good health, please give so others can live.
In this next feature, we help you to understand the facts of epilepsy and explain some of the myths about the disease.
What do Socrates, Theodore Roosevelt, Charles Dickens, Alfred Nobel, Prince, Lil Wayne, Elton John, Danny Glover, and Hugo Weaving all have in common? If you said they're all famous, that's not quite the answer I'm looking for. All these prominent figures are believed to have or had what many know as fits or seizures associated with epilepsy, one of the oldest and least understood medical conditions.
It is not dopey take you over, it is not spirits. We have these myths that we do need to dispel in Jamaica. Some people think it's contagious, and it is not contagious. You cannot catch epilepsy. Anyone, anytime can get epilepsy.
So, what is epilepsy? It's a disorder of the brain characterized by recurrent seizures, which are short periods of involuntary movements involving a part of the body, a partial or focal seizure, or the entire body, a generalized seizure. Our brains run on electricity, which is produced by cells called neurons. In some people, these neurons sometimes produce a sudden electrical burst or power surge, resulting in a seizure.
Epilepsy is a chronic disorder, just like asthma or diabetes. It's a disorder of the brain. And so when a patient has a seizure, they do have unusual behavior at the time of their seizure. But otherwise, they're usually quite normal. It's also not a mental illness. People with epilepsy are not crazy. It's a brain disorder, but it's not a mental illness.
The cause of epilepsy can be genetic,
meaning that you can be born with a genetic disorder that predisposes your brain to be abnormally wired, and that you are more likely to produce these epileptic discharges and have seizures recurrently. Sometimes you may have, when the baby is being formed in the first few months of their embryological life, you may have an abnormality happening with the brain formation.
Then, there are other conditions that can occur at any time during someone's life that can cause epilepsy.
Those conditions that are acquired would be those related to a physical injury to the brain or an infection in the brain, such as meningitis, which is an infection of the covering around the brain, or an encephalitis, which is an infection of the brain substance itself, as well as you may have stroke, decreased blood supply, nutrients going to the brain, also causing seizures and epilepsy.
Seizures do not always involve convulsions or jerking of the body. There are in fact over 20 different seizure types. Many are quite subtle, as in the case of 12-year-old Liana.
We found out when she was about 3 months old. It was something very subtle. We found out that she was just staring in one direction for probably a minute or two, keeping that stare.
For Marvin Fullerton, his experience was different.
I first found out in 1994, November 1994, when I was in technical high school. What I did was feeling some itching on my skin. I went to the school nurse, asked her what was wrong with me, and she told me that I need to change my bath soap. Right.
And what happened after that?
Well, I changed my bath soap and nothing really changed after. But it was January 4, 1995 when I had my first attack. And I woke up in my father's car going to hospital.
Even though he was soon diagnosed with epilepsy, Marvin was able to live a normal life for most of his years as a student.
I was able to go to school. I was put on simple medications such as Tegitol CR 200. No problem. It was easy taking it. It prevented me from having an attack, but my body was not having much problems at those times.
Marvin went on to attend the Vocational Training Development Institute, VTDI, and the University of Technology. He holds a diploma in architecture and construction management. But despite his academic achievements, he still has challenges gaining employment.
I'm not working right now because it was just the other day I was in the hospital, right? And I got an interview for a job. The interview was wonderful, but I was in the hospital, so the job somewhat got turned down. They found out about the situation and I got turned down.
Unfortunately, there are those who believe that persons with epilepsy cannot work or lead normal lives.
Most people, 70 to 80% of people with epilepsy, can have their seizures controlled. It's the person you employ who you don't yet have their first seizure. Those are the ones that you should be worried about, because any of us can develop epilepsy for different reasons at any time.
If you believe someone is having a seizure, there are some things you should never do.
Do not put any objects in the mouth. Do not put a spoon to hold the tongue down. Do not bring scallion. Do not take a dirty sneaker and put over the face.
So then, what should you do?
You need to cushion their heads. Whether you have a cushion or a jacket, you can take off and make a cushion just to support the head so they don't damage themselves. You loosen, if it's a man with a tie, loosen his clothing so that he can get some air and he can relax. You turn the person on the side. Do not put them with their heads right back. Turn them on their side and the tongue will fall and any fluids of the mouth will drain out to the side. And I guarantee you, you cannot swallow your tongue. A seizure would take between 3 to 5 minutes. Now, if the seizure continues for more than 5 minutes, you should take that person to the hospital.
Anti-seizure medication is the most commonly used method to control seizures. Discounts are available for epilepsy patients who are registered with the National Health Fund. But there are side effects. Some persons experience weight gain, drowsiness, irritability, skin rashes, and blood platelet changes, among others, all of which require understanding from those around them. Then, there is also medical marijuana or medical cannabis.
It seems to have helped a number of, especially children with epilepsy that have been intractable, that is difficult to treat. But in Jamaica, we still need legislation in order to use it, and there's still a lot of research that needs to be done about the dosing of the CBD or cannabidiol to be used to treat epilepsy, but it surely seems as though it may be promising.
Research has also shown that diets such as a ketogenic diet can help control the onset of epileptic seizures. The Jamaican Association for Epilepsy offers support for persons with epilepsy and their families. The association also holds regular meetings with members at the Andrews Hospital to share experiences and discuss concerns. They can be contacted at telephone 968-8274 or email jaepilepsy@gmail.com.
We are in a race against time, to reverse the effects of climate change by one simple action which has positive and enduring effects. That's right, plant a tree, leave a lasting legacy. Join the My Tree Legacy promotion by planting a tree at your alma mater and share your work with us. Every tree counts. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
We've come to the end of our show for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website at jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.